Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome, fellow masters. My name is Musaki from the Chaldea Gurus. 2020 has been a long year, but we're fastly approaching the end of it. Now, 2021 is going to have a whole host of new servants that you will want and need to roll for, but today we're only going to focus on the 4 stars and lower. That's right, we're going to do it a little bit differently. If you want the top 10 5-star servants that you should roll for in 2021, that video will be out next Friday. So definitely subscribe to the channel and hit the bell if you want to see that video come out, because I have some opinions that are daringly different. Mind you, I will preface this that this is my opinion only. You can honestly roll for whoever you want, but in my opinion, these top 10 are the servants that you will get the most bang for your buck for. And in some cases, these are the only 4-star servants, so I mean, I'm just ranking. Anyhow, let's just jump into it. Number 10, Miyu Edelfelt, 4-star limited caster. Oh, Miyu Edelfelt, it's a shame what they did to you. Miyu Edelfelt is a 4-star caster with only 1 limited time rate up, and that is with the Prisma Ilia Cosmos event. This is the only time that you'll be able to roll for her, and aside from her kid is one of the major reasons why she's number 10. Because for that rarity, she does not fulfill everything she needs, and let's get into exactly why. Her skill set is actually pretty weird. So we're going off with the first skill, Cheerful type Mystic Coat. Not bad, right? It looks pretty good. Arts 20 to 30% and crit damage 20 to 30% for 3 turns. Granted, that in critical damage is 3 attacks for 3 turns, but not bad. Even has a 5-turn cooldown when you max it out. And then we get to, her second skill, which gives herself Guts for 1 time for 3 turns and debuff immunity for 1 time for 3 turns. Again, not bad. This is a form of protection. Getting to the third skill, charges 1 to allies in P gates 20 to 30% and increases their buff success rate for 3 turns. This is pretty good. This isn't bad. Is it like crazy good? No, but it's not bad. Targetable 30% battery with a buff success rate is pretty good, especially because some servants depend on their success rate. So again, this doesn't seem bad, especially when you look at the passives. Well, we gotta go into the MP. Wish upon a star. This is an anti-unit / anti-world. It grants self-protection, a Sakatsuki, which is regeneration buff for 3 turns, and it charges Party's Noble Phantasm gauge by 10% every turn, recovering HP every turn. It does 3,000 damage to self. That is a lot. At Overcharge 1 gives 5 critical stars at max 25, and that health regen isn't even that great. 3,000 health to herself is a big chunk, especially when you look at her health. That is 1/4 of her health that is just gone. Yes, she gets the regen health, and because of this, she's been called Mini Merlin in a lot of ways. But if you look at the health regen, in order to get anywhere close to what Merlin was actually healing you, you need to get to like MP level 4, MP level 5. You cannot use MP 1 level Miyu and use her to the best of her ability. Yes, I know there's a strat with double Miyu and Voyager. That speaks more to Voyager than Miyu, because that is the only strat you can use that for. At the end of the day, she is not a bad servant, but considering how rare her banners are and how, while middling her skills and MP is, it's not a guaranteed roll for her. If you like her, definitely roll for her, but I feel like there are other 4 stars that are coming out this year that will be way more worth your Sankorge investment. Number 9, Osaka Behime, 4-star limited archer. Osaka Behime Archer is here for a variety of reasons, but the main reason is there's a lot of busted servants at every rarity of Archer, and when you compare her to others, she's definitely lacking, but let's get into exactly why. Her first skill, not that bad. Increases critical damage for 3 turns and grants self-evasion for 1 attack for 1 turn. Not that bad at all. Next one, it has a 500% chance to inflict taunt status to 1 enemy as a debuff. So that's bad. It's a chance to inflict it. You don't really have a choice, I don't believe. That's the bad part. So you don't choose what the taunt goes through. but the inverse is increase the party's attack for 3 turns and they gain ignore evasion for 3 turns. That's not for nothing. 3 turn ignore evade, pretty good with a 10 to 20% attack. That taunt, a little rough, I'm not gonna lie. Regardless, third skill, increases own arts and buster performance for 3 turns. Not bad, not a bad skill at all. She has 4 passives, one of which being a personal skill that increases her arts performance by 8% and reduces her own damage by 200, which adds up in the grand scheme of things. And then we have her Noble Phantasm. Senshiki, Mili Night Fever. I'm not saying all that, but that's that. It's an AoE MP that also increases buster performance and crit damage for the party, depending on overcharge level. Now that's where it gets to be pretty good. She doesn't seem like the type to be DPS, but they're giving her some DPS stuff. If she is her own unit, then yeah, she can handle herself, but that second skill in combination with the overcharge effect with her Noble Phantasm gives her a pseudo off support type of role. Problem with this is, with Buster Noble Phantasm, this is the old school damage scaling for Buster MPs. 300 to 500% is very low, even though you have ways to increase with the third skill and the second skill. It's still not the best. It needs some help. The damage at the end of the day needs some help. It's not that she's a horrible servant. I want you to be known. She's not a horrible servant. This is super solid. It's just when you compare her to her peers that comes out at the same time and in the same of her class, she has a lot of competition. But I feel like she fits way more strategies than Miyu, and that's why she has the number 9 spot. Number 8. Carmilla, 4-star limited rider. Well, the Phantom Thief has made it on this list as well, and this is the second 4-star summer servant here. I put Carmilla above Asakabi Hime for a couple reasons. One, plushy mistress, how you doing, bud? And second, she is deceptively better than you would expect. Honestly, when this unit came out, she didn't really, aside from the looks, she didn't make much of a splash, but as more and more people began to use her and show her off, she has a lot going for her. So let's break that down. So we have the first skill, Femme Fatale Fall, so has a chance to steal one enemy skill for 1 turn, 50 to 100%, reduces your defense against critical damage for 3 turns, which is very specific, and you gain 5 to 15 critical stars on a 6-turn cooldown if you max it out. Pretty good. Second skill, Phantom Thief's calling card, Lupin third reference, or Persona reference, your choice. 500% chance to inflict calling card set delay debuff for 1 turn to 1 enemy, and what that does, it reduces the enemy's MP charge after 1 turn and charges the party's Noble Phantasm gauge after 1 turn. It also reduces 1 enemy's critical attack for 3 turns. This is a 15 to 25% just gifted battery, just get handed out. Third skill, Mistress CEX. This absorbs all enemies' HP. And mind you, it says enemies' HP cannot fall below 0. And the amount of HP reduced on the enemies equals to the amount of HP healed by Carmilla Rider. Reduces their defense for 3 turns. That is an interesting skill. Literal life steal here. Just taking their HP from 1,000 to 2,000. The major thing is, aside from just taking the straight unblockable 2,000 damage, is the lowering of the defense from 20 to 30% for 3 turns. If you look at everything she's doing, she's lowering the effectiveness of the opponents. So while she's not directly buffing herself, she's weakening the enemy a lot. Like, crit defense lowered, your crit chance is lowered, and your natural defense is just all lowered. You're going to be taking more hits, and because she is a quick based servant with 2 quits, 2 arch cards in her deck, both that hit 4 times each, extra hitting 4, you're going to get a lot of stuff. Noble Phantasm, here it is, Testaros the Maiden. This is an AoE style Noble Phantasm that deals damage to all enemies and inflicts the buff block status on them for 1 time or 3 turns, and reduces their quick resistance for 3 turns. So she's continuously saying, hey, you're getting weaker, you're getting weaker, you're getting weaker, and then taking advantage of that. So she is not a bad servant at all. She's pretty good to roll for. I couldn't really give her any lower than this. Like, this spot definitely fits for Carmilla Rider, and one of the reasons why the first banner for Summer 4 is going to be such a good banner to roll on. Number 7. All new friend point servants. Yeah, that's right, I'm cheating on this one. Literally every single new servant that appears in a friend point summoning this year. And you get 7, 1 for each class. They're all just very good. We're gonna start off with Changong. Changong, get used to this man's face. Very strong for a 2-star caster. It is literally insane. So its first skill, Scapegoat. This is Kiritsugu's skill, or Emiya Assassin. He can choose anyone on the field to say, hey, you on my team, they're gonna attack you now. It also reduces all enemies' critical attack chance for 3 turns, 10 to 30%. Advice of the Strategist. This is Waver's skill. Oh good, third skill. Increases one ally buster performance for 1 turn. Increases Berserker ally critical damage and Berserker allies max HP for 1 turn. He says, hey, pair me up with Herc, please. Pair me up with Lubu, please. I would prefer that, actually. And then, the thing that makes all of that possible, the Noble Phantasm. You gotta pay attention to the placement where you have him. There's a 500% chance to sacrifice 1 ally except for himself, and he deals damage to all enemies. And look at that damage, 900% to 1500%. And the additional damage, depending on overcharge level. That is insane. Look at that. Like, if you have overcharge 500%, that's 900 additional damage. That's insane. Of course, you're literally launching one of your allies as a sacrificial missile, but hey, at least the sacrifice triggers guts. And there is a reason why you see Changong in so many strategies over on JP. Jason, the first 1-star saber. Very good unit, does a great amount of damage, and if you have Argonauts, he actually helps Argonauts. He created a trait, so if you have an Argonaut-like servant, look at all the stuff he does. He increases party attacks normally, but then he also gives you Noble Phantasm. He also increases critical damage. He also increases critical star generation. Hey, isn't Hercules an Argonaut? Noble Phantasm, also pretty good. This is a very good art saber. Is he the best low rarity saber? No, there are some 3-star sabers that are better, but come on. Jason, as the only 1-star saber, super nice. We talked about the other ones briefly. Salome here, who allows for some absolutely dumb setups, allowing you to absolutely curse enemies to death with very little effort. It's very insane. Paris, added to the very, very long list of low rarity archer servers that are just very, very good no matter where you put them. He joins the list with Arash, Robin Hood, David, Uriel, you know the people. Charlotte Corday, assassin with a very low floor but a high ceiling, arts based, very good servant to have. Gareth, now everyone here, she is a little wonky to use, but overall she's a good Lancer DPS unit, especially when for 2 stars you only have Leonidas and Big K. And Bartholomew Roberts, the great rider farmer. He's one of the few units that says, hey, what type of enemy rarity is that? Okay, I do additional damage to them. That starts a trend, and I hope I see more of that. Literally every single one of these units are good. So save your friend points if you're not doing CE bombs for these servants. When they release on the 4th anniversary, you roll for them. Get them all, MP5 them all. I believe in you. Number 6, Calamity Jane, 4-star limited archer. Once again, we're back to the archers, and we're going with Calamity Jane, the cheerleader of Space Ishtar. And let me tell you, she has a lot going on for her. So you would assume from the first skill, Sabotage, that she's gonna go into some more of a support type of role. She reduces the enemy's attack by 10% for 3 turns, and her critical attack chance for 3 turns on a 9 to 19%. That's a little bit of an odd number, but I think it has something to do with just how things shake out at the end of the day, or they might correct it later with strengthening, hopefully. Second skill, crazy, Galaxy Messenger EX reduces all enemies MP gauge by 1. It increases her own attack by 3 turns, then an 80% chance to increase party's attack except for herself for 3 turns, and then charges the MP by 10%. There's a lot going on here, but at the end of the day, she increases her own attack for sure for 20%. She has an 80% chance to increase everyone else's attack for 20% as well, and then she also has the charging the MP gauge by 10% regardless. So pretty good. Watch this third skill. Third skill, show me the way, Polar Star. Pay attention, guys. Increase one ally's buff success rate for 3 turns. If there are 10 critical stars or more, increase their critical damage for 3 turns. When there are 20 critical stars or more, increase their critical star absorption for 3 turns. When there are 30 critical stars or more, grants them evasion for 1 turn. When there are 40 critical stars or more, grants them ignore invincibility for 3 turns. When there are 50 critical stars or more, charges their noble phantasm gauge 10 to 20%, 500 to 1500 absorption, 20 to 40% crit damage, and their success rate is 20 to 40%. What is this skill? My God! Essentially, if you have a way to realistically get 50 crit stars per turn and you pop this skill, donezo. Whoever you target with this is going to get beefed up so much. At the end of the day, you can also target it with Calamity Jane if you want it, and she does show that she can actually hold her own, but my God, oh, that's a lot to take in. You can use that a lot. The caveat is you gotta get those stars though. So if you don't have a team that can generate enough stars, then definitely she's gonna have an issue. And from the looks of it, her generation is not that great. So, you know, you're gonna need help with that. She's giving you the investments, but you need a way to generate. She's giving you a critical star dump that you can invest your stars into, but now you need a way to generate those stars with her. Noble Phantasm, single target, ignores evasion for 1 turn and deals damage to 1 enemy. It also reduces their defense and quick resistance for 2 turns first. Depending on overcharge, that's 10 to 30%. That's not bad. That's pretty good. Wow. So pair that with everything up here, she seems insane. Like, it seems like there's nothing that you could do that will prevent her from being top tier. The problem is, a lot of it depends on those crit stars, at least for this third skill. Like, taking away this skill, we only have this and this. And while this is not bad, this is not to be understated, is not really helping her a whole lot. Like, aside from just the 10 to 20%, they're guaranteed, obviously, in the 10% MP gauge. It doesn't stack multiplicatively. She doesn't have something that gives her a quick up that'll help push that damage through. Yes, I understand that there's a quick resistance and I'll lower it, whatever. She doesn't have a quick up of her own per se, aside from her basic riding A skill. Imagine if any of these had a quick up attached to them. And yes, there's a lot of things going on here, but none of that says quick up. And she's limited. She is tied to Space Ishtar and Saber Wars 2. So whenever that reruns, that's your only other chance to get her. If you're rolling for Space Ishtar anyway, you might get her incidentally. And if that's the case, cool. But I feel like there are more servers that you can roll that'd be more worth your coins. And now we've reached the point halfway through the video where these next 5, honestly, any one of them are just very good. 5 to 1, just say, hey, they might as well just be number 1. They're all good, no matter what. But for the sake of the list, I do have a certain order, and I will say that order to you right now. So let's start with number 5. Lakshmi Bai, 4-star Saber. The only AoE quick saber in the game right here. Lakshmi Bai, introduced in Lost Bowl 4. Ignore the fact that she's a Jean face, because seriously, she's packing some real potential, and honestly, it's a shame that she's been overshadowed. Granted, I understand why, considering what comes out in the next banner after, but she is really good and she should not be understated here. So let's get into exactly why. I want you to look at the MP charge attack for Lakshmi Bai, 1.01. Do you know who else has a high MP charge on their attack? Okita. Okita has 1.09. This here, as a 4-star non-limited saber, I might add, has the second highest MP charge on attack in the game for sabers. Let's dig into the skills. The first skill is a charisma-based skill. It increases the party attacks 10 to 20% for 3 turns, and 60% chance to both increase the critical star generation and the critical damage for 3 turns. Both 30 to 50%. Not bad. That 60% may worry you. You may be wondering why you can't increase it. We'll get to that later. Second skill, this is her invincibility. Actually, it's a targetable invincibility. You can put it on herself or someone else, and whoever targets it, they have a 60% chance to not only get healing regeneration buff for 3 turns, but a damage cut for 3 times at 3 turns. That's pretty damn good. Seriously. So she can either protect herself or protect her allies, and that's awesome. Then finally, the third skill, Resistance of Gwalior. It grants gut status for 1 time, which is not bad, reduces own debuff resistance by 20%, which is a demerit, but increases the party's buff success rate for 3 turns. And when you look at that, if you level it up to 10, that's 40%. 3,000 HP with the revival, and 40% success rate to the party, which means these 60% become 100%. So the idea is you pop this third skill, and now all of a sudden, hey, is it guaranteed that these will happen regardless for the course of 3 turns. And now we get into the Noble Phantasm. AoE, Quick Saber. Deals damage to all enemies. It removes their offensive buffs. All those buffs there are gone. Every single one of them are gone. 600% to 1000% for the damage, and for the overcharge, it actually reduces your critical attack chance for 3 turns. 20 to 40%. Honestly, this is a very good unit. I like her. Even though she's on a banner that's not that great because there's Janako on there, Lakshmi Bai is very good. Hopefully I'll be spooked for her in the future because she's not story locked. But I will be rolling for Lakshmi Bai. I want this servant really bad. Number 4, Astrea, 4-star ruler. Hey Luvia, how you doing? Good to see you in the game. She is very, very good. She is one of the best arts units in this game, at least at the 4-star rarity. She is very, very good. She does a lot of damage, has a lot of skills that apply multiplicatively, and man, let's just dig into this monster of a ruler servant. Much like Martha Ruler, she's more on the offensive type than anything else, and she brings the pain. The very first skill increases one ally's attack for 3 turns, increases their defense for 3 turns, and MP generation for 3 turns. Those are all 10 to 20% on a 5-turn cooldown if you level it up. That is very, very good. And hey, there we go. Mana Burst Star increases her arch performance for 1 turn and gains 20 to 30 critical stars. That's a 20 to 30% arts up with 30 bombs of stars just gone right there. Boom. You need 30 stars? Got them right there. Third skill, Judgment of the Stars. You see a theme here? This can only be used when you have 5 critical stars or more. But when your second skill literally drops at least 10 stars, this is fine. Increases on crit star absorption and crit damage for 1 turn, and also charges their MP by 20%. She has a battery, she has a way to give herself crits, she has arts, she has a way to increase an attack and MP generation, and she's a double arts, double buster servant with 4 hits on her arts, 5 hits on her extra, and 3 on her quick. Imagine an arts quick arts combo with her. You're getting some mad value. Now I understand, we see that MP charge attack is not that great, but the fact that she can increase her MP generation rate up by an extra 20%, that helps a lot. Especially in this case, by nature of her being an arts servant, she's going to be able to fit into a lot of strategies, like Castatoria, for example, to help fill in the gaps that she has. The 3 passives that she has are also very good. Crit damage, art damage, basic damage up. She has multiplicative passive buffs on top of this. Her damage is insane. And guess what? We're not done. The Noble Phantasm here. It's a single target Noble Phantasm that gains 20 crit stars. What the? Deals damage to 1 unit, and on top of that, if you're evil, you deal an additional 150% to 200% depending on overcharge. Do you understand how many evil servants and enemies are in this game? She can body slam a freaking world tree and destroy this world tree no matter what class the world tree is. Like, I get it, you guys like Shinghorn D, I understand that, but Astrea can literally do it all. Like, she's like, yo, I need crit stars. Boom, here's 30. Boom, here's 20. All right, here's my Noble Phantasm. Oh, here we go. I'm doing my thing. I'm doing my thing. And she only gets better with support. Throw her to Taba mode. Watch, she gets better. Castatoria. You don't need anyone else. She just gets better. Seriously, Astrea is a fantastic arts ruler. And the best part, she's permanent. She's in the gacha pool. So you're sitting here rolling for servants, you have a chance to get Astrea, and you should be thankful if you are blessed with multiple copies, because baby, it's gonna be so good. Astrea is great, trust me, and come on, look at that shit. That's pretty good. Number 3, Okita J Soji, 4-star limited assassin. Yes, my bias is clearly showing. You heard how hyped I was for Estrella, so why oh why is Okita J Soji above her at place number 3? Though she has all these debuffs, her death rate, and blah blah and blah. Listen here, Okita J Soji, the meme finally being put to an end. The fact that she is no longer just a meme. Swimsuit Okita is here. Is great for multiple reasons. Let's break down why. Triple quick card deck. 5 hits on each quick card with 5 hits on the extra. And I need you to look at the fact her MP charge is 0.92%. And her star generation is 25.3%. She is going to be insane. MP charge on defense is 4%. Do you realize that that's not a normal thing? Normally it's 3%. This all adds up. Everything adds up. So looking at the base stats, you're dealing with a monster here. Now I know majority of you are like, man, the death rate's kind of low. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. I really do. But how many enemies are you actually going against that has instant death? Let's be real. Very small situations where that will actually come up, especially when she's an AoE servant. But let's dig into the skills and see why people are making it seem that Okita J Soji is not a good servant. First skill, increases her own critical damage for 1 turn, critical star absorption for 1 turn, and removes one of her own defensive buff as a demerit. But the crit damage being up from 50% to 100%, and then 400% to 800% on a 4-turn cooldown. Look at that. Pretty nice, good uptime. That means you're only not gonna have this for 3 turns if you really need it. And that's very good. Second skill, look at this. Grand self-evasion for 1 turn. Not attacks, just 1 turn. You can't hit her. She gives her ignore evasion, which is something that her original form desperately needs. And then increases her own MP damage for 3 turns, 10 to 20%. Now, if you're trying to double Scotty her, please don't forget to pop this skill at the beginning, because this actually adds up. 10 to 20% MP damage is going to get you a long way, my friend, and I'm going to show you more in just a second. Third skill, M Drive EX. I'll say the name of this one because it hits home. This increases the own quick performance for 3 turns, but the downside is it reduces their own defense by 20% every turn for 3 turns, starting at 10% on turn 1. And this is as a buff, so you cannot remove this. This is part of the skill. But I need you to look at this. 30 to 50%. Are you kidding me? This is a 30 to 50% damage up on quick card? Performance up, really. Not just damage, everything about what makes a quick card good. 30 to 50%. Are you kidding me? Normally it's 20 to 30. So level 1, you're starting at 30% as is. But man, you're really cutting down your defense. I mean, she's not going to be applicable in all situations. Bro, you're going to be using her for farming. If you're using her in a double Scotty looping situation, you're only using her to farm. Defense is not going to be an issue because they're going to be dead. And that's the point. Let's dig into the passives. Increases own critical star generation by 7.5% and reduces instant kill resistance by 10%. Whatever. Debuff resistance 15%, instant kill resistance, whatever. Okay. Don't really care about that. This is outside the domain E. This is very interesting. One of the few servants that is not a foreigner with the existence outside the domain thing. She gains 2 crit stars every turn. So automatically she's topping off a couple crit stars off of everything else that she does. When I say that her base gameplay is 4-star Jack, I am not kidding. I have seriously gotten anywhere between 35 crit stars to 53 crit stars on a normal quick chain with her. It's insane. She can charge her Noble Phantasm up so quick. She is literally 4-star Jack. So it makes sense why they're throwing all these little demerits on there, because yeah, if you didn't, she'd just be the best assassin at 4-star ever. Now let's get to Noble Phantasm. This is an AoE, as I mentioned. Deals damage to all enemies, removes their defensive buffs. All of them are gone. And reduces their defense for 3 turns, just like her original self. However, she has a 60% chance to stun herself for 1 turn. Now, a lot of people get on this and say, hey, this sounds pretty bad. The fact that there's a 60% chance of stunning yourself is really going to cut down on the damage you can do in a turn. If you are that worried about that, instead of putting the Noble Phantasm at the beginning of the chain, why not put it at the end of the chain? But we're missing out on optimal damage. Well, if you're scared of the stun, this is the best way to get the most damage out of it. You put it at the end, you still do your damage. Remember, she's AoE, so I'm pretty sure, unless you're like me and crazy and just love Oki to the death, you're not gonna bring her in a situation which is against one person. So what I'm saying is, if this stun buff scares you so much, there are ways to go around it, but it does not hold her back from being an absolutely great unit. People saw the look on paper and it was bad, but playing her, I have her. I've had her at MP1, I've had her at MP3 and MP5. I've played her at almost every single level. She feels so good. And you may be wondering, I'm talking about Oki to J Soji like she's the best servant in the game. Look, let me enjoy the fact that one of my favorite servants actually has a swimsuit servant. That isn't bad. It's actually very good. But there are two more servants that are better. Number 2. Mysterious Alter Ego Lambda. 4-star Lancer. Well, both of Musaki's servants have made this top 3. How you doing, Melt? Looking pretty good, that penguin outfit. Boom! So, let's get right into this thing. Melt Lancer is one of the few Arts AoE Lancers next to Fion. And I know, there's a lot of Fion stands out there now. I appreciate you. I'm glad you support a servant that you like. But this servant's way better, and I'm gonna tell you why. She has a pretty good kit. Double arts, double quick, and buster cards. 2 hits on the arch, 4 hits on the quick, and 5 on the extra. Pretty good right there from the start. First skill, you're gonna notice something really quick. This is an art performance for 5 turns. 10 to 20% for herself, 6 to 4 turn cooldown. That means you max this skill out. There will be 1 turn where you can overlap this arts buff. So it is a 40% arts performance. Are you kidding me? I have never seen a servant do that before. Second skill, here comes her protection. It grants herself invincibility for 1 turn, increases her own buff removal resistance for 1 turn. That's on a 50 to 100% percentage rate. And a 5% chance to grant self waterside battlefield buff for 3 turns. Man, I kind of wish that was for everyone because there's a couple people who use that buff, but I guess she uses it later. We'll find out. Third skill, a very Melt-like skill indeed. Absorbs Parter's Noble Phantasm Gaze, except for herself. It goes from 20% to 30%. And if they don't have that, it just drains the rest of it and goes to her. It also increases her crit star absorption and her own attack for 1 turn. Pretty much she's saying, alright, that's nice. Give me all your stuff. I'm going to take it from here. She's probably only going to be in a team where this would actually benefit her. Unless you're getting her in a strategy to where you need other people's Noble Phantasm and you cannot replenish them quickly enough, this will become a factor. But honestly, I think this is fine. It does enough. It charges her Noble Phantasm by 60% at max, at minimum 40%, maybe even lower if they don't have enough Noble Phantasm Gauge, but ideally you're not playing this for that, and if you really just didn't care about Noble Phantasm Gauge, the increase in attack is worth it there, and the star absorption, because she is a Lancer. Star absorption isn't the highest, so this will actually help her out here. But let's go ahead and look at these passives. 4 passives, just like the original Melt. Ways to increase her quick performance, ways to increase her critical damage, and of course her own base damage. So right there, once again, multi-plucking passive buffs. And Blue Summer Paladion removes all enemies' evasion buffs if she has the water side field. So if you have evasion against her, you're gone. Could have used her for Lost Buff 3 to be perfectly honest. Deals damage that ignores defense buffs to all enemies as well. That's at a 450% to 750%. And as an overcharge, you gain 20 crit stars. If it's 500%, it's 40 crit stars. That's good. Do you know how much you can loop this around? Gazatoria actually makes this insane. She is such a good unit. I honestly can't say that there's a better Arts Lancer than this, and I get it, if you like Fion, you do, but Melt Lancer, come on! She is limited to Summer Force, and you only have 2 chances to get her, just like Oki Tsuji and Carmilla and Osaka Behime. Notice how all the 4-star Summer Servants are here, because they're really damn good. Now, as awesome as this is, there is one servant I had to choose. And I went back and forth on this. Melt Lancer was actually number 1 for a while, but I went back and forth, and there's no conceivable way that this servant is not one of the best 4-star servants of 2021, and that servant's name is number 1, Asvathama, 4-star story-locked archer. Of course, Aspathama, a story-locked archer. Of course an archer, but what makes this archer better than the other archers that you talked about today? Boy. So Aspathama first skill has invincibility and charges his own MP 20 to 30%. Very basic skill. You can use it for the protection, but you have the MP. Not bad. You're probably gonna be using it for the MP gauge, but not bad that you can be a little versatile if you don't need it right now. Second skill, I need you to pay attention. Increases own buster performance for 3 turns. Grant self on attack activate debuff for 3 attacks or 5 turns. This inflicts a defense down for 3 turns to the enemy when attacking with Buster cards. Buster cards! And this increases Buster card performance. This is a 10 to 20% on the minus defense and 20 to 30% on Buster. You see how this is starting to look? And this is on 3 attacks for 5 turns, and the Buster performance on 3 turns. 5-turn cooldown overall for the skill. Let's get into the third. That's not gonna be much, right? No, you're wrong. Third skill increases own quick performance for 3 turns. What the heck? Grant self on attack activate buff for 3 attacks or 5 turns. This increases the critical damage for 3 turns when attacking with quick cards. Are you kidding me? Double quick, double buster, and you're telling me that if I pop both these skills, he gets more benefits from using those cards? Are you kidding me? Seriously? Wow. That's really good. He's just saying that 4 cards of his 5 cards decks is just, hey yo, I'm gonna be really cool real quick. Crit damage is 20 to 30%. And on top of that with this, it just, my God, it stacks up so well. So let's get into the passives. You can't get any crazier than that, right? Well, you're wrong again. Look at this. Yes, independent action is really good, increases crit damage. Yes, debuff resistance, not bad, pretty good. He has Divinity 8+, not bad, increases damage by 210%. Let's look at Ruja Avatara EX. It increases his own Buster performance by 5% passively. Increases his own critical damage of Buster cards by 10% and grants himself mental debuff immunity. He cannot be put to sleep. He cannot be charmed. He can't be under terror. He can't be stunned. Look at it. Look, right there. What is that? Terror. He can't be put under terror. Look at that. No, can't do that. Nope, can't put him under confusion. Nope, you can't put him on char debuff resist down. Nope, you can't charm him. You can't do any of this. You can't do it. It's not possible. So it's like, he technically has like 6 passives. If you really want to look at it, like that does 3 things in 1 passive. That's insane to me. But we're not done, guys. Noble Phantasm. Single target Noble Phantasm deals 600 to 1000%. It removes the defensive buff, and with Overcharge, it further deals damage to them based on own remaining HP. What is this? So if you're saying that my boy Aspathama is at 1, look how much damage additional that does. 600% at overcharge level 1 and 1000% higher. It means the lower his HP is, the better. What the hell is this servant? What the? He's insane. He's a literal god. He's story locked, yes, and that sucks. But do you want to know who he shares a banner with? This man right here, Arjuna Alter. They're on the same banner. You're gonna be rolling for Arjuna Alter next year, without a doubt. Spoiler wording, he's on the list somewhere. Spoiler wording even further, I put him on a list earlier this year and said you need to save for him. Arjuna Alter is very good, so you don't lose on this banner. You get Hot Wheels, and you also get Arjuna Alter if you're lucky enough. And with that out of the way, that is my top 10 4-star and lower servants of 2021. Thank you guys so much for coming by. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I was a little more hyped than I normally am. I hope that didn't turn you off, but I'm really excited for next year, man. If you've been waiting for any new servants, this is now the perfect time to save up all the money that you need to, and then bam, you roll for the servant that you want and unleash pain. 2021 has so many Rockstar servants that I honestly had to separate this into 2 different videos. Trust me, I wanted to do one, but I have to. The 4 stars need to have their spotlight. The 5 stars need to have their spotlight. Heck, I think honestly, there should be a spotlight put on the returning servants, because so many servants are getting buffs next year. So if you want to see that, get this video to 1,500 likes. I'll add that video after I take care of the top 10 5-star servants of 2021 if you're interested. Now then, if you liked the video, definitely let me know in the comments down below. Like it. I want to hear what your personal top 10 would be. Did you agree with some of my decisions? Did you disagree? I'm really curious because I want to know what you got to say. I want to know what's on your mind. And hey, if you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell so you're notified when we upload again. My name is Musaki from the Chaldea Gurus, and we're logging out. Happy holidays.